Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Listening Podcast. I am so happy that you decided to spend some time with me today. I hope you are feeling comfortable, relaxed, and ready to improve your English while exploring an exciting topic. Today, we are going to travel through the fascinating world of myths and urban legends from Latin America. These stories have been shared for generations, long before the internet, television, or even modern books became common. Parents told them to their children, grandparents passed them down to younger family members, and entire communities kept these stories alive through conversation. Some legends were created to explain mysterious events that people could not understand at the time. Others were meant to teach important lessons about honesty, respect, courage, or kindness. Many were also used to encourage children to stay safe, avoid dangerous places, or behave well. Even today, these stories continue to be part of everyday culture in many Latin American countries. Some people see them as entertaining tales, while others believe there may be a small amount of truth hidden behind them. Whether we believe them or not, myths and legends tell us a great deal about the traditions, fears, hopes, and imagination of the people who created them. They also help us understand the history and identity of different cultures. As we explore these famous stories together, remember that they are part of folklore rather than proven historical facts. Their value comes from the way they connect generations and preserve cultural traditions. So, if you enjoy mysterious stories, cultural history, or simply want to practice your English while learning something new, I think you are going to enjoy today's episode. Let us begin our journey through some of the most famous myths and urban legends that have fascinated people across Latin America for many generations. Let us begin with one of the most famous legends in all of Latin America, La Llorona, also known as the Weeping Woman. Versions of this story exist in countries such as Mexico, Guatemala, Colombia, Venezuela, and many others, although the details often change from place to place. The most common version tells the story of a woman who, after experiencing deep sadness and making a terrible decision, loses her children. Filled with regret, she is said to wander near rivers, lakes, and streams, crying as she searches for them. People often describe hearing a distant voice repeating words similar to, "Oh, my children," especially late at night. For generations, this legend has been told to encourage children not to wander near rivers after dark, where the danger of strong currents or accidents is very real. Whether someone believes the story or not, its message about protecting children and respecting nature has remained important for centuries. Another legendary figure found in many parts of Latin America is El Silbón, or the Whistler. This legend is especially well known in Venezuela and parts of Colombia. According to the traditional story, El Silbón is the restless spirit of a young man who is punished after committing a terrible crime. People say that he walks through lonely fields and forests at night carrying a large sack over his shoulder while slowly whistling a haunting melody. One of the most interesting parts of the legend is that many believe if the whistle sounds close, the spirit is actually far away, but if it sounds distant, it may be much closer than expected. Although there is no evidence that El Silbón exists, the story has become an important part of regional folklore and is often shared during family gatherings, especially in rural communities. Stories like these continue to survive because they combine mystery, imagination, and lessons that have been passed from one generation to the next. Another famous legend that has been shared for centuries is El Chupacabra. Unlike many older myths that come from colonial times or indigenous traditions, this legend became popular during the 1990s and quickly spread across Puerto Rico, Mexico, and many other Latin American countries. People began reporting mysterious attacks on farm animals, especially goats, which were found dead with unusual wounds. Because of these stories, the mysterious creature became known as El Chupacabra, which literally means the goat sucker. Descriptions of the creature vary widely. Some people imagine it as a reptile-like animal with sharp spines along its back, while others describe it as a strange creature with glowing red eyes. Despite many investigations, there has never been reliable scientific evidence proving that the chupacabra exists. Experts generally explain these reports as attacks by wild animals, illnesses affecting livestock, or misunderstandings that spread through rumors and media attention. Even so, the legend remains one of the best-known modern myths in Latin America and has appeared in books, television programs, movies, and video games. Another fascinating legend is El Sombrerón, which is especially popular in Guatemala and parts of southern Mexico. According to traditional stories, El Sombrerón is a mysterious man who wears an enormous black hat and often appears at night. Some versions say that he plays beautiful music on his guitar to attract young women, while others describe him as a magical figure who braids the hair of girls and even horses while everyone is asleep. Although every region tells the story a little differently, El Sombrerón has become an important part of local folklore, preserving the imagination, traditions, and cultural identity of the communities where the legend was born. There are many other fascinating legends across Latin America that continue to spark curiosity today. One of them is El Cadejo, a legend that is especially popular in countries such as Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua. According to traditional stories, El Cadejo appears as a mysterious dog that walks at night. Interestingly, there are usually two versions of this creature. The white Cadejo is believed to protect travelers and guide them safely home, while the black Cadejo is said to lead people into danger or tempt them to make bad decisions. Many people see this legend as a symbol of the constant struggle between good and evil that exists in every person's life. Another well-known story comes from Colombia and is called La Pata Sola. According to the legend, she is a mysterious woman who is said to live deep in the forests. She is often described as having only one leg and appearing to people who wander alone in remote places. In some versions, she first appears as a beautiful woman to attract travelers before revealing her frightening appearance. For many years, this legend has been used to encourage people to respect nature, avoid entering dangerous forests without preparation, and be careful when traveling alone. Another famous tale is El Nahual, which has its roots in indigenous cultures of Mexico and Central America. According to ancient beliefs, a Nahual is a person with the supernatural ability to transform into an animal such as a jaguar, wolf, coyote, or bird. In many indigenous traditions, this transformation is connected to spirituality rather than horror, and the Nahual is often seen as someone with a special bond with nature. Stories like these remind us that Latin American folklore is incredibly diverse. Some legends are meant to frighten us, others teach valuable lessons, and many preserve ancient beliefs that continue to be respected as an important part of the region's cultural heritage today. Before we finish today's episode, I would like to share one final thought about myths and urban legends. Whether these stories are based on real events or are simply products of imagination, I believe they have an important place in every culture. They remind us that people have always searched for ways to explain the unknown. Long before science could answer many questions, legends helped communities understand the world around them. They also brought people together. Families would gather at night to tell mysterious stories, children would listen with curiosity, and each generation would pass the tales on to the next. Even today, these stories continue to create conversations and inspire books, movies, television series, and works of art. I also think it is interesting that many legends reflect real human emotions. They speak about love, fear, regret, courage, hope, and the consequences of our choices. Although the characters may be imaginary, the lessons behind the stories often feel very real. That is probably one of the reasons why these legends have survived for hundreds of years. They continue teaching values while entertaining people at the same time. Of course, it is also important to separate folklore from historical facts. Enjoying a legend does not mean believing that every detail actually happened. Instead, we can appreciate these stories as an important part of the cultural identity of Latin America. They help us understand how different communities viewed nature, life, and the mysteries that surrounded them. I hope today's episode has encouraged you to discover more legends from your own country or from other parts of the world. Every culture has fascinating stories waiting to be explored, and each one gives us a new way to understand history, traditions, and the incredible imagination of people throughout the centuries. In just a moment, I would like to leave you with one final message before we finish today's episode. As we come to the end of today's episode, I would like to leave you with one final message. I hope today's stories have reminded you that myths and legends are much more than mysterious tales. They are windows into the history, traditions, and imagination of the people who created them. Every country has stories that have been shared from one generation to the next, and each one reflects the values, fears, beliefs, and creativity of its culture. Whether you enjoy these legends simply as entertaining stories or find them fascinating because of their historical and cultural importance, they invite us to stay curious and keep learning. I believe that exploring different cultures also helps us become more open-minded and respectful of the world around us. At the same time, it is always important to separate folklore from proven facts and appreciate these stories for what they truly are, an important part of cultural heritage. The next time you hear someone tell an old legend, take a moment to listen carefully. You may discover not only an interesting story, but also a piece of history that has survived for hundreds of years. Perhaps you even have a favorite legend from your own country or your own family that has been passed down through generations. Stories like these remind us that imagination has always been one of humanity's greatest strengths. I hope you enjoyed learning about some of the most famous myths and urban legends from Latin America while practicing your English with me. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. Your support helps me reach more English learners around the world. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself, stay curious, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful day.